Hello, everyone. My name's Juan Barrero. I apologize that I couldn't be there, but I had to attend an unfortunate, unexpected family matter in my home country of Colombia. But nevertheless, let's get started. Was it beneficial for Boeing to press ahead with the allegations of dumping against Bombardier on the various platforms that they did? So initially, it looked like that because the US ITC and the US COD ruled in favor of Boeing, and they put a countervailing tariff of 212% and an anti-dumping tariff of 79%, which really handicapped their competition. So, of course, they were pleased. However, it did cause global uproar initially by Canada, which deemed Boeing as an untrustworthy partner. They cut a military aircraft deal that they had with Boeing and decided to side with an Australian company which they purchased old aircrafts from. And that deal was worth $18 billion. So Boeing did lose $18 billion right off the bat. Northern Ireland was also angered because Bombardier has a manufacturing plant in Belfast, which a lot of people depend on that for jobs. And Northern Ireland, has an economy that also is helped by that plant. So of course they were angered. And the UK was also displeased. They went on to say that if Boeing carried on with these allegations, that they would cut all the defense contracts that they had with them. So if the Canadian contract of one Canadian contract of military jets was $18 billion, imagine how much all the UK defense contracts are worth. Now, later on, the US ITC revised the case and they decided to overturn it and rule against Boeing, which ultimately led to Boeing pretty much shooting themselves in the foot because they had the global uproar from the initial ruling, even though they did benefit from those tariffs. But now they overturned the ruling, so they have a bad reputation, and they have the US ITC ruling against them. Now, what legal options does Boeing have now for seeking resolution in terms of the US ITC ruling? Now, the first step is pursuing the case via the NAFTA regulations. Now, this process isn't too long. It pretty much, the problem has to be stated. A panel will review the procedure, and it's a 5-member panel. And two countries, then a further review of more panelists would be done, in the two countries each nominate two panelists, and then there's one panelist that's impartial. Now, all the members are expected to give the decision by a certain amount of time, and the final ruling, can only be challenged in very specific circumstances. Now, number two is that they could also escalate the dispute via the World Trade Organization. Now, this process is a lot longer, so bear with me here as I walk you through it. The first stage is that both parties undergo a consultation process, which leads into the second stage, which is if the consultation fails, they can ask for a panel to be formed and review the case as a whole. Now, this leads on to the first hearing, but before the first hearing, both cases have to be presented in writing. And at the first hearing, both cases present their case to the panels. And in the second hearing, the parties present their written, oral, and oral counter arguments to the initial case. Now, after that, each party could get an expert opinion, and it's actually encouraged to help with the process of the case. And in the first draft, they present a report which contains the facts and arguments, also revised by the expert, which includes also an interim report, which is basically the report containing the findings and the conclusions that each party found. And this goes into the review process, which is just a period of time that the WTO takes for reviews. And the final report, this leads on to the final report, which is both sides present their final report, and it's reviewed by the World Trade Organization as a whole. And this leads on to the ruling that if the report isn't rejected within 60 days, it becomes set in stone and it becomes a ruling. And the losing party can appeal the decision, and they appeal to a 7-person panel. Now, the third option is dropping the case entirely. And this could be the smartest way for Boeing, the smartest thing for Boeing to do, because they've already done so much. It's so much has been against them. They already damaged their reputation and caused global uproar, and now they don't even have tariffs going for them. So it could be smart to just drop the the case as a whole, especially after the threat by the UK that if they didn't drop the case, they would cut all the defense contracts. Now, Boeing is going through all of this, but how can they regain a foothold on the market for small planes? Well, Boeing are at a disadvantage. You know, it's a fact. Airbus's purchase of the C series was incredibly smart. They're doing very well. But now Boeing is working with Akasa to renovate Akasa, and that's with their small 737 scoop jets, which are more or less the equivalent of a C series. Now, Akasa's CEO, according to Bloomberg, said that he wants 70 planes by 2025, and it's a finalized deal of $8.5 billion. Now, this deal, in the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot of money in comparison to the deals that these companies normally make, but it's a start, and it's going to strengthen their position in the Asian market, which is the most competitive aviation market in the world. Now, how did Boeing's competitive position change in the U.S. market for small aircraft after Airbus acquired the C series? Like I said before, Boeing's presence did take a massive hit. You know, Airbus made an incredible purchase, and Boeing also, reputation also did not do too great. Now, what makes the C series stand out? Why do people choose the C series? Now, the C series is much cheaper to manufacture, and it's 15% cheaper than any modern aircraft and 20% cheaper than any older aircraft. Now, to get to the exact cost, it's $19 million to manufacture, while Boeing's equivalent is $32 million to manufacture. Now, if it's cheaper to manufacture, this means that the prices are overall cheaper. So yeah, Boeing is working on rebuilding themselves and rebuilding their reputation after what happened. And Airbus at the end of the day made an incredible purchase, but it's all looking uphill from here. Thank you.